Hey, HappiDaze here. In today's video, we are reviewing the 2 new Super Sugofest characters that are coming out in just a couple days. So, apologies I haven't had much chance to get videos out. Between the Super TM, which I went insanely hard, going top 600, it was just absolutely nuts. So I've been really super busy there, so I haven't had too much chance to get videos out. I did do some polls on the Dory and Broggy banner. Didn't get lucky. Had to end up going, I think, until like 17 or 18 to get them. I do like the characters though, so it wasn't. I wouldn't recommend everyone going for that Dory or Broggy, but I like them, so I went for them. So again, using the full batch team there. So I don't quite have a video out there. If you want to see the full batch team, Stump already got one out there, so or Toadski, so I recommend just checking with them if you want to see that team breakdown for this Kazuna. But that being said, let's get into the Sugofest, see what the characters are. So the 2 characters that they're introducing are 1, Nusjuro, and then 2, Jupiter. So let's break them down one at a time, see what they can do. I like to wait till these data downloads come out, that way you can make sure we get some of the right text. Sometimes the text they put on the Bandai linked site is a little funky in terms of what the meaning means, so I just like to kind of wait till we get these actual data downloads. So let's take a quick look real quick at what Nusjuro does first. So he's a Sly-driven slasher. He does have a final tap, which is awesome. Before we get into the final tap, let's take a look at his support. So he goes on to basically any of the Elders of Celestial Dragons. And once per quest, if you use a special, reduces the defense up by 6. That's fantastic. Like, that is really good for support. Just use a special, boom. 6 of Blue Shield down is awesome. So already starting off good there. Going to his final tap, let's take a quick look. At level 5, he will change his own slots, including block and super block, to Psy. Just okay, would have liked if you could give it to the whole crew, but that is what it is. And then gives a chain multiplier boost of 2.25. It's just a mid final tap, so there's a lot of characters who have much better final taps, especially those that can give you, 2 times the damage or 1 time the damage of what you output. So yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's not a base attack boost, and the number itself, the 2.25, is fine. But yeah, it's just kind of a mid final tap. So. Wouldn't go wasting your final tap tablets if you have them into this guy. Just try naturally evolve it over time. I think you'd be good there. Let's take a look at his captain ability and his special. So quickly taking a look at his captain ability. So he gives a 6 times boost to Psy-driven slasher. Same thing we kind of saw with Saturn. So that's kind of keeping that theme of a 6-time base, which is good. You don't need any kind of certain slots to get there. And he boosts his own attack by 6.25. So again, pretty good. Makes crew's Psy and recovery slots have matching slot effects, and then if you use the action special, which again you can only use if you are the captain, you can't use that as the friend captain, and you get excellent. You can get a 1.1 boost if you have a 5 Elder, Celestial Dragon, or Navy tag, and that can go up to 1.3. So that roughly translates to, I'm not good at math, so please forgive me here. I think it's somewhere around 6 3/4 for the 1.1, and I think it's over 7.5 for the 1.3 times that 6 times attack. So just an absolutely crazy amount of damage that he'll be outputting. Don't know if he's worth using over Saturn, for example, as a captain or friend captain, but yeah, he'll do a lot of damage, at least when you have him in there, if you have those tags on your units. So then if you have 4 or more 5 Elders, Celestial Dragons, or Navy tag characters on your crew, boosts bind by 10. Like, there's so many ways to get around bind, whether it's, a couple turns from sockets, a bunch of supports that do bind. So bind's really like one of the easier buffs to get rid of. So kind of disappointed by that. Really wish it would have been kind of one of the more niche buffs. I think that would have been a little bit better. But hey, it is what it is. It's for 10 turns, which means there's probably going to be some bind in the upcoming Blitz battle that will feature these guys. If you use a special to boost attack or slot effects, you increase that by 0.5. So I'm guessing that as part of his special, he probably gives you either an attack or an orb boost. We'll have to see what happens there, and it's stackable, which is great. So yeah, love to see that. And then lastly, because he has a high cooldown, let's see what it is real quick. 30. Okay, so that explains why. If you have basically 4 or more of the 5 Elder Celestial Dragons on your crew, then you get the 15-turn reduction for your cooldown. Similar to what you saw for Saturn, right? Kind of exact same thing. So because their cooldown is so high, you need a way to get rid of that, otherwise you'll never be able to use them. And as a sub, it's going to be super hard to use these guys, right, with the 30 cooldown, unless you have a unit that can reduce their cooldown. So makes sense why they put that on there. is kind of what it is. So overall, not like super overwhelmed by the captain ability. Like, yeah, it's a high attack multiplier, which is good. It gets rid of bind, which is just okay. And yeah, and you can get that stackable attack or boost, which is, it's good. It's not bad, but still, it's nothing that's really wowing me so far. On the captain ability, maybe the action special will be a little bit different. So let's take a quick look. 300 time damage to an enemy, just to one enemy, ignoring all defenses. That's just kind of okay. That's not a ton of damage or whatever. And it removes all enemies' blue shield. Like, there's so many ways to get rid of blue shield today with supports and things like that. Like, it's just not a scary debuff, right? You had Saturn who got rid of the damage reduction, which, like, wow, that's a debuff that's a pain to deal with if you don't have, like, Gear 5 Luffy, right, to go through it. And there's not a lot of supports that can remove a lot of turns of it, but there's a bunch of supports that can help remove blue shield. So it's nice that it completely removes it, but it's just a buff that we have a bunch of ways to get rid of with different units. So that's kind of a disappointment there. If Captain is a 5 Elders character, if Captain's a 5 Elders character on the special is launched and you have a Psy support, you get territory driven. So that's cool. I like the idea of having supports determine what boost you get. I think that's really cool. The fact that it's a Psy can be any Psy unit makes it really versatile, so you can, you know, put any support, especially because these units aren't going to have a ton of supports to put on them initially, right? Unless it's a generic support that can do all characters. There's not going to be many characters that can go on these 5 Elders. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but it's good that it lets you do any Psy. So there'll be some options for you out there to be able to get that driven. And then if it's a non-Psy character, you get the set target status. That's fantastic. That is really, really, really good. So set target status for the slasher-driven characters, it'll let you just do an absolute ton of damage. You get some cooldown reduction. So that's probably the better effect, I would say, out of the two versus the territory. I think the set target status gets you a little bit more damage. So that's awesome. You can just throw any non-Psy character on, and boom, there you go. You'll get that set target status. So love that. And then lastly, you can boost the character's attack up to 5 times based on the cost of your crew. So similar to Saturn, the higher cost of your crew, the more damage you can do, right? So yeah, you'll definitely be doing a lot of damage with this guy. He doesn't have a crazy amount of utility per se. Like, it really feels this guy's meant to just do a bunch of damage. But yeah, let's see if his super helps do anything or change that. So if you have an attack boost or slot boost of 8 times or more, so again, they want you to be able to, you know, that's why they have the stacking attack and ore boost and things like that, right? So you can kind of get your multiplier past 8 to activate this, or you have the overheal. So if you have either one of those, then basically you get an additional attack boost. You can stack it up to 2 times, so that's pretty cool. That's not bad, just a little bit more damage there. And then the chain multiplier of 1.2 is just kind of whatever, just a little bit more damage, which is, I guess, cool. And then you get Super Psy and Super Driven characters if they are that type or class. So it's an okay super. Not a ton of utility in there. It's really just a little bit of extra damage. So yeah, not a kind of broken EX super that's there. So that kind of it breaks down the character from a PvE perspective. Do a lot of damage, but he doesn't have like a ton of utility, which is kind of a pain. So that being said, let's just take a quick look at what he can do in Rumble. Maybe he has some redeeming qualities in there. So he's a 55 cost character, so of course it's going to make it hard to throw on teams because of that. But kind of is what it is. So let's take out his Rumble ability real quick. So he gives Psy and Slasher or 5 Elders attack up 7, which is good. Speed up 7, which is okay. And if you have 5 or more Slasher or 5 or more Elder characters on the team, he gives himself an attack up level 7, a crit up, a guard up, all enemies attack down 3, and speed down 7. So it's an okay debuff. Nothing kind of too crazy there. It's going to be tough to build the team of 5 Elders just because they're all 55 costs and they don't have a ton of synergy. So most likely you'll be using this guy on a Slasher team if you throw him in there, which means you won't be getting that second part of his condition. And then lastly, Navy and World Government characters, you get some additional speed and some additional crit up. So again, nothing like too crazy there. Most of the time you'll just be getting really that attack up, speed up. Would be nice to see a little bit of CT in here. But yeah, that kind of is what it is. So you could see some play in the Slasher team. The Slasher team is getting a little long in the tooth now based on the units that are there. We really haven't had any major meta switching up characters for Slasher. So maybe this guy will find some slot on the Slasher team, just depending on what his special can do. So let's just take a look. CT's 34, so it's a little bit high. So targets all enemies for a 20% HP cut. Okay, that's pretty good. Targets enemies within large range for 3,000 fixed damage. Okay, so you get the 20% HP cut, you get a little bit of damage. It doesn't go through defense, so that's kind of the disappointing part there. It is what it is. And then if you have 5 or more Slashers or 5 or more Elders, targets all enemy for 100% chance of paralysis for 10 seconds. That's pretty good. Paralysis is not bad. If they don't have a special, they won't be able to go. And then targets 3 high attack enemies for attack times 4 damage. Ooh, okay. Now it's getting spicy. And then targets 2 high defense enemies, ignoring defense for 1.3. Wow. So you get the 20% HP cut, the 3,000 fixed damage, the 4 times attack to 3 units, and then the 1.3 times through defense to additional 2 units. Like this guy's gonna hit like a monster in PvP. That's pretty crazy. All the damage that this guy is going to be doing. If you guys are low HP, he's gonna take care of them pretty easily. And if they're high HP, he's gonna drop them probably to 50% or below when his special goes, if he's able to hit them even for a couple of these conditions. So loving the special. Like that's really, now I understand why it's on a higher cooldown, just because that's a pretty good special. And then if they have Navy or World Government tags, you get some additional attack up and defense up, which is kind of, it is what it is. I mean, granted, you have already the attack up from this captain action, right? So if you can get that special, just getting like a plus 12 attack, it's pretty good. Nothing to really complain about there. So far, like he's definitely, I like his PvP kit a little bit better than the PvE kit so far. Just my personal thoughts there. Let's see what he can do for a GP leader skill. So side type, 5 other teammates, you get attack recovery up 6. Again, just boosting that attack. Special CT 3. Okay, so that's good. So that's where the special CT at least comes in. And then slasher-driven teammates get HP, speed up, and defense buffs there. And then if they're a Navy or World Government, you get some more defense and some more special CT. So, yeah, not bad. It's going to be a lot of buffs, which is good. The special CT speed is going to help. Typically, the slasher teams, when they can go, if they can go first, are insanely strong. So having someone who can make your guys go faster and just do a ton of damage himself is certainly going to help. Now, will he see? Is he going to be meta defining? We'll have to see what his burst is, but it's a good GP leader skill. Like there's nothing wrong with it. I think the tricky part is that condition that has to be side type and 5 elders, right? Because there's just not going to be a lot of teams outside of, obviously you're going to have like a solo side team that he'll be on, but you're not going to have like a solo side team and then have like another team of 5 elders. So it's probably only going to really buff realistically one team of your 3. So that's kind of the disappointment part of it there. So that's why I don't think he's going to see a ton of use in Grand Party, even though his leader skill isn't technically that bad. So that being said, let's take a look at the burst. So they give it 30% HP cut. Okay, 6,000 damage. So basically, it's adding a 10% onto what his special did and doubling the base damage there. And then it goes from, I think it was a 4 to now a 4.5 here. And then you basically, yeah, I mean, he's just going to, when you go, you're going to end up just doing a ton of damage with this burst. What's the requirement? When 5 enemies are defeated. That's a little bit of a pain. That means you probably won't be able to at least use them until battle number 2 and on, right? So I think the game plan, if you were to use this guy as a leader, would probably be to have like a team like the strength team that can go really quick, or just a team that you know can win that first match themselves really quickly, so you get your burst gauge charged, right? But it's going to be tough using this consistently, right? When it goes off, it's going to do an absolutely crazy amount of damage, but you might only be able to get it to go off, you know, once per GP match, right? As opposed to most other ones, you can kick off two or 3 times, depending on how many times they can be kicked off, right? So that's kind of the downside there, is that 2 is a little low, but I can understand because it's a huge hit. But that requirement's gonna be, I think, is gonna be the part that makes it a little bit tough to activate this all the time. So that being said, like overall, I would probably say like I would give this unit maybe like a 7 out of 10, I would say, somewhere in that ballpark. Like I said, his PvE kit's not that great, not game busting. His PvP kit is really good, so that's probably where you'll see most of the use there. And of course, until we get kind of the full batch of all the 5 elders, it's going to be tough to really build a lot of these teams to have synergy, right? So again, just kind of wait and see to see what happens with everything. So that being said, that was Nusjuro. Let's go ahead and take a look at Jupiter here and see what he can do, see if he's any better. Take a quick look at the captain ability first. So sorry, he is a dex-driven powerhouse. So let's take a look at what we can do real quick. So we boost dex-driven powerhouse attack by 6, similar to what we saw with previous guy there, and he makes dex recovery slots matching. If you have a orb boost and you launch special to boost slot effects, treats the boost as a further raising effect. Okay, so yeah, he'll just do a bunch of damage. I believe if you use the Nusjuro special after using this guy, right, it'll try to boost the orb effect, and that will trigger that multiplicative thing on it as well. So just a way to do a lot more damage there. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Saturn had the attack boost, right, based on his special. So this guy is really, I think, going to help focus on orbs and just getting that up super high. So you like to see that. And then if you're a captain, again, friend captains don't count for the action specials. Basically, you can go from a, similar to what we saw on the previous guy there, you can do a 1.1 up to a 1.3 if you have any of those tags mentioned there. The 5 Elders, Celestial Dragons, or the Navy. So again, just do a ton of damage there. So let's see what else he can do. So if you have 4 or more 5 Elders, Celestial Dragon, or Navy characters on the crew, and you have the orb boost status at 10 times or more, then, ooh, okay, so normal attacks basically are super effective. So that's awesome, right? Probably see this most if you have that G5 Luffy, right, and the ability, his special has the ability to kind of make all your attacks, the 6+ Luffy has the ability to make all your attacks super effective. So that's pretty awesome. That's really good. You're going to be doing a ton of damage if you hit with this guy. And again, I didn't check his cooldown for his special. It's 30. So again, it makes sense that all of these guys have the 15 turn reduction if they are the captain. So a lot of utility there. Obviously, he doesn't really do much in terms of, he doesn't remove debuffs or anything like that, like we saw with Nusjuro, but still, he will just make it so you just do just a ton more damage, and the fact that you can have basically like the super effective attack is going to be awesome. So liking him so far. I'd probably rate his captain ability a little bit better than Nusjuro. So let's go ahead and see if his special is any better. So it reduces all enemies' HP by 10%. Okay, that's just kind of whatever. And completely removes all enemies' threshold. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, threshold is one of the most annoying debuffs I hate to deal with. So the fact that he completely removes it is fantastic. And there's not a lot of supports that can get rid of it. There's not things you can do with sockets to get it down. Or supports to really get it down more than 1 or 2 turns. So the fact that he completely removes it is fantastic. I love that. I love that part of his special. If it's a Dex type, is set as support for the character. So similar to what we saw there, instead of Psi, it's Dex for this guy. You get the territory driven. And then if you... let's see what happens. So they don't have a condition if they don't have a Dex type support. Hold on. Oh, that's interesting. Unlike Nusjuro, they don't have a thing that says if you don't have a Dex support, a non-Dex support on here, you don't get any kind of additional boost. So yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you have Dex supports on this guy, and the reason that you do is because if you have that Dex support, not only do you get the territory, but you also get a up to 5 times slot effect boost on here. So obviously, the more cost you have, the higher that will go. You want to try to get that 750 cost so you can get the 5 times multiplier. So yeah, I mean, he's and he also does. Oh wow! So not only does he give you the orb boost, but he also will increase the attack boost by 1.5. Wow! So this guy is a huge buffer. Not only will he give you the orb boost, but if you have an attack boost, like if you use Saturn before and then use this guy, he'll boost that attack boost of Saturn by 1.5, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, that's really good. So far, I'm liking this guy's special. It's pretty good. And then lastly, if you have 4 or more 5 Elders or Dragons or Navy characters on the crew, you can do overheal. Yeah, so I'm guessing he has a super class similar to what we saw with Nusjuro. Let's just take a quick look. Again, you have to have 8 times of your slot effects or more, similar to what we see for all the other elders, or you have the overheal status. Reduces crew's paralysis by 10. That's awesome. That's pretty good. I love supers that can do utilities, and it just doesn't give you your units to the super type of or the super class of whatever they are. The fact that it gives you not only a I can't speak today, a paralysis reduction by 10 turns, but it also gives a 50% driven resistance on top of that, on top of changing your characters. Like that's fantastic. Like this super special is really good. This unit so far is definitely, I think, the better one out of the two from a PvE perspective for what I can see. Like getting rid of threshold, getting rid of paralysis, having a huge debuff with the damage there with the super class. He's going to be just doing a ton of damage there. So yeah, absolutely love to see that. So far, he's pretty good. Let's take a look at his potential abilities and support. We didn't really check that out real quick. So taking a look at his support, again, you attach to characters with 99 cost or more. Reduces threshold by 6. That's fantastic. Again, not many characters can get rid of threshold more than 1 or 2 turns. So the fact that you have one that gets 6 turns at a time is great. Downside to that is you can only go on basically the elders or celestial dragons. So that's the downside, but the support effect itself is really powerful. And then he does have a super tandem, so let's see what he can do. So basically, he can give the celestial dragons, the world government, and navy characters +5. And if you have a 5 elders, then he gives you the +7. So it just gives you a bit more additional attack. But that's not bad. Like that's pretty decent compared to some of the other super tandem boosts that we've seen. So yeah, I guess until we start seeing content that really needs it, I can't recommend going like spending all your super tandem tablets onto it. But yeah, not a bad super tandem boost at all. He does have the new damage limit break as well, which is kind of okay. Yeah, unless you're like super hardcore grinding in super Kazunas or Kazuna bosses, then you really don't have to worry too much about that. So is what it is. But overall, yeah, so far from a PvE perspective, like he's good. He's really good. The funny shaped worm is going to probably be the MVP of this part 2 Sugo, I would say. But hey, maybe his rumble isn't good. Let's take a quick look and take a look. See what he can do here. So Dex type powerhouse class or 5 elder teammates. You get HP up 8. Wow. Okay. Enemy attack down 4. Defense down 3. That's not bad at all. If 5 or more powerhouse characters or 5 or more 5 other characters are on the team, all enemies HP down level 7, speed down level 7. And then you have Navy and World Government teammates. They get HP up, recovery up. And after they get action bound up to 3 times, he basically will give himself a CT speed up. And give all enemies special CT speed down level 3. So obviously they intend you to get action bound a lot. I'm guessing that will probably be a component of his special to be able to do that. And when that happens, hopefully it's a short one, because otherwise you might not have a lot of time to use it with only 90 seconds in matches. But when you get that, you basically you give that cooldown reduction to all your enemies. And I'm trying to think. I can't think of any other units that will self-bind you outside of maybe himself, this guy here. So I think it's going to be really hard to do it multiple times in a match, but we'll see. But really what they want you to do, like I said, is use it in either Dex or Powerhouse teams. Again, a little bit more versatile than Nusjuro, who could only go onto Sai or the 5 Elders teams. At least this gives you an additional class there, which gives you a little bit more free use of this guy in there, which is great. But yeah, he's just going to give you a bunch of buffs and a bunch of debuffs to your enemies there. So let's see if his special is any better. It's at 35, so it's pretty high. It's a little bit even higher than Nusjuro. Target enemies within large range for attack times 4. Okay, not terrible. Would have been better if they had some attack through defense, but it is what it is. If 5 or more powerhouse characters or 5 or more 5 elder characters on the team, targets all enemies for defense down 10. Ooh, that's pretty high. Speed down 10, special CT down 5. Wow. Okay, so this guy's gonna be like really debuffing your enemy here. So I'm assuming if I scroll down farther below, because in the captain ability they said that if you're bind, you'll reduce your enemy CT speed, I think it was 3. So if he binds himself, that could be like an 8 turn down special TC speed, which is crazy. And then gives a special CT delay of 20%. Yeah, like to all enemies, that's I mean, it's pretty good. That's a lot of debuffs. Lowering the special CT, it's going to make sure you guys can really get your guys to go first. And if you have any Navy or World Government teammates, you get a 100% chance to evade fixed damage. I mean, it's still used a little bit, but I don't think fixed damage is as intense or as crazy as it has been in the past. I think a lot more of the units are focusing on damage to defense, so yeah, it might help for some stuff, but the fact that it's only on Navy and World Government, I think, is a little bit limiting, but I guess that's okay. It's a good 20 seconds, but still. Targets all enemies for 100% chance of action bind. It's only for 5 seconds, but yeah, basically, if you're close, it lets your guys be able to go, and with that special CT reduction that they give, you know, it just gives you a little bit more time to hopefully have your units go before they go. And then target self for 100% action. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so he action binds himself for 5 seconds. Okay, so that's not bad at all. Yeah, it's going to be tough to use this more than 2 or 3 times in a match, I think. But yeah, that's the name of this guy is going to be kind of debuffing your enemy, right? So they really can't go before you have a chance to go, and that's why he has all this bind, all this CT reduction. So that's kind of really what he's looking to do. And then he targets one high attack enemy for 100% chance of force out for 10 seconds. Okay, yeah, that's not terrible. Can't really complain about that. And if current team is 2 teammates or more, okay, so when you launch this the first time, you're almost guaranteed to have this. He gives himself a CT, speed up level 10. Wow, okay. Yeah, you should be able to get this off at least two or 3 times a match, then no problem. If he gives himself that much of a boost, that means that when you come out of that action bind that you give yourself, you're going to be pretty close to being able to go, which is pretty awesome. And then he targets himself for 100% chance of force out. Interesting. So I guess it's to reserve himself, right? So that they can't knock him out while he's action bound. So that's interesting. So it kind of takes him out of the field. He can't take damage against him, which is good. And then by the time he comes back, he'll be ready to go. So that's a pretty cool thematic way to deal with him, right? Goes away and comes back, so that's interesting. I like that that's there. So GP is pretty good. Yeah, he's definitely gonna just be buffing and debuffing people. And like I said, I wish his special did a little bit more, but it's really about debuffing that enemy, right? So for most of your match, your enemy's probably going to have, you know, at least level 8 CT speed down, which is just nuts, right, in terms of going. So yeah, really liking PvP as well as PvE so far. So pretty strong showing. Let's see what he can do in Grand Party. So he gives Dex type 5 Elder teammates HP up 6, gives defense-driven powerhouse, and if you have 5 or more driven characters, or 5 or more 5 Elder characters on the team, all enemies HP recovery speed down 6, and then if 5 or more powerhouse characters or 5 Elder characters are on the team, all enemies get attack down 6, defense down 3, and then, wow, there's a lot of conditions to this guy. And then if 4 or more Navy World Government characters are on the team, all enemies special CT speed down level 4. Wow, yeah, they are really trying to debuff your enemy. Like the amount of CT speed down is like absolutely ridiculous. Now, granted, having 2 teams that have Navy characters or World Government characters have at least 4 in each, I think is going to be tough. That's going to be probably the hardest part of that. And it's interesting that they actually included Driven in here, right? Because his regular ability only buffed Dex and Powerhouse and the 5 Elders, not Driven. So Driven kind of came out of nowhere here for his GP leader skill. But yeah, it's an okay leader skill. Just a bunch of additional buffs, right, to the team, which is pretty awesome. In terms of the actual special itself, you get to use it 3 times, so that's probably good. What's the condition? After applying status effect 7 times. I mean, I guess with all the bind and paralysis and all that stuff, and maybe it might not be that hard to execute that, but not the easiest not the easiest activation requirement there to get through, but let's see what it does. He targets all enemies for attack down level 8 for 30 seconds, defense down level 8. Wow, just more debuffs. 2 enemies for 100% chance of force out. So technically, you can get rid of 3 enemies, right? If you were to use this burst right after he went, you get one of the high attack enemies knocked out from his special, and then you could use the burst and get 2 more enemies. So basically, get 3 enemies off the board right away, which is pretty cool. And then targets 3 enemies with high special CT for 100% chance of action bind for 10 seconds. Interesting. So originally I was thinking maybe use this right after you use his special, but the problem that you have there is that his special does the action bind. I think it was for 10 seconds. Let's see what his special. What was the action bind length on his special? Yeah, for 5 seconds. So I don't think it stacks the 10 seconds and the 5 seconds. So I think you might have to wait for that 5 seconds to end before it makes sense to really kick off the special, just so that you get kind of 15 seconds really of the action bind. But yeah, definitely an okay burst. Not broken, not like to the level of Luffy or Kizaru or any of those guys. So I don't think you'll see this guy seeing much play in Grand Party. But yeah, just when you go against this guy, the team that has this guy, though, it's going to be really annoying with all the debuffs you're going to have to deal with. It'd be interesting to see how the strength team deals with this guy. I think that's where I see the greatest potential, just because that strength team can go so quickly that the ability to just debuff them totally here means that you guys can go before them. Obviously, you're not going to use a Dex team against them, so you probably have to use a Powerhouse team with this guy on it. But you could probably actually pretty easily beat the Strength team if you had a full Powerhouse team with this guy on it and got some of those buffs that he has on there. So definitely interesting. But yeah, for Grand Party, you probably won't really be using this guy much from what I can see. So out of the 2 characters, I definitely like Jupiter better out of the 2. I'll probably be pulling for both anyway, just because they're Super Sugos, right? So it's tough to get them because Super Sugo Sugofest don't come around all the time. We only get, I think, somewhere between 6 to 8 a year altogether, right? So if you don't get them now, they probably won't show up for a while, or if you do, you'll be chasing newer units, right, instead. So we have, as you can see, a little bit over 2,000 gems saved up, ready to go. I got absolutely shafted on part 1, having to go up to 24 multis to get Luffy. So I'm hoping we can pull these guys really quick. I don't know the pools yet in terms of what legends are and what parts. Unfortunately, if I try to click on any of the buttons here, it doesn't give me that detail. So I can't really recommend what part to pull on yet until I have that data. So probably have a follow-up video once that data comes out. We can actually see like what the legends are in all the different parts. Typically on part 1, they like to have it so that it has a much wider set pool of legends. In part 1, it was all like every legend in the game, and they had like 30 or 40 that were boosted. So we'll have to see if they keep that same structure for this part as well. If they do, I don't know. I didn't have any good luck on part 1, so I might be traumatized. Might have some PTSD there, but I might try pulling in their individual parts and see what happens there. But that's going to wrap it up for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe if you can, and good luck on your pulls. We'll have some videos out shortly.